Okay, let's get this over here. Let's go on Google. Okay, guys, we're live. Just in. All right, cool. We're live. We're live. Oh, it's live. Oh, cool. Let's send it across. Let's get everyone in there. All right, so in today. Yeah, let's get into this. Okay. Alright, perfect. We're live. Alright, I'm just going to share this inside of there so we can all kind of get in and have a conversation. Just in. Alright, cool. So the biggest topic of discussion really is what is happening in the world today and what does this mean for the markets? What does this mean for the markets? A lot of you are asking me questions. You're asking me, Vel, what's my analysis on things? How do I see certain things playing out? So I want to be able to share with you guys my thoughts, my opinions, and also my analysis. Now, I saw something online and I wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was really important. I've just got back from football, so my voice is gone. But I wanted to kind of explain to you guys the severity of the situation that we're in and also the hypocrisy of the life that we live. Right now, wherever you're watching this video, you're probably fortunate enough to be able to log on to the internet, tune in, have a look at what's happening, and be able to tune out. You don't have bombs flying over your head. You've got the luxury of probably arguing with your friends about which artist or which movie to watch or which rapper is the best, or you know where's best to go to for a vacation, or what designer brands are best to purchase. We don't have the torment of going to sleep not knowing if we're going to wake up because we're going to be bombed. Coming from where I come from in London, you could say that we walk around expecting, or we walk around knowing that there's a risk that we could get robbed, there's a risk we could get stabbed. There's not really a high risk we could get shot, but these are things that happen in London, in UK, yeah? But none of us, and we've grown to accept that. What we wouldn't accept is the fact that we could potentially be put in a situation where we wake up in the morning and our family, our friends have been bombed, they've been killed. These are things that we would not accept. These are things that we can't even fathom. So it's really important to understand the fact that we're living in times where for us it's safe, it's secure, it's luxury. It's a luxury, the life that we have right now. It is a luxury, and only as time goes on are we really going to understand how much of a luxury it is that we really had. You know what they say, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Well, things could be gone. Things could be gone. Now, Bitcoin. A lot of you may be wondering, Vel, what is this on your screen? These lines, these zones here represent my buying and selling zones for Bitcoin. So you can see we've had prices push up into these areas. It's pushed down. It's bounced off of these zones. And just recently, prices pushed up into the zone, reacted off it, and it will probably come down. Now, I mentioned inside my community that I want price to come down to as low as 97k. I said this yesterday, I believe, or early today. I said 97k. Where did I say 97k? 97k. Here. Wouldn't be surprised if we reached 97k. Okay. When was that? That was 2:30 p.m. Okay. Now it's 10:30, the buy time, right? So I said that this morning in UK timings, and we're already, not too far from 97k. Now, as this happens in the war, Trump has escalated the situation to now make other countries need to get involved. Okay, you've got a UN treaty, the United Nations treaty, where America is not allowed to attack another country part of the United Nations treaty, and because they have done that now, other countries are going to get involved. other countries are going to put themselves in a position where they also can put themselves in a situation where they're going to have to defend Iran. So that means China, that means Iran. Now, just today, countries have stopped flying to Dubai from UK, right? Flights have been stopped. But if a nuclear war breaks out, here's exactly what will happen and who will survive. Okay, because that's what really we need to understand here. If a nuclear war takes place, pass that over there, bro. Thank you. If a nuclear war takes place, then what is going to happen? Well, it will last minutes, okay? It will last minutes and it will change centuries. And you won't be the first to know. You'll actually be the last. When the sirens come on, it will be too late. And that's because the elites, they've already left, right? Now, here's the full decoded truth behind the next war, and that ends the world, if I'm honest with you. And it's the fact that the countdown will begin in silence. Yeah, there'll be no warning. A single radar blip mistaken for an attack might equal into total retaliation. You know, you'll have a 3 to 5 minute window to make a decision. And, you know, you'll probably have a 15 to 30 minutes full-scale nuclear exchange. Now, once that starts, ladies and gentlemen, once that starts, there is no stopping it. No negotiation, no forgiveness. Now, there are immediate countries that will be inside of the destruction zone, okay? Call it ground zero. Now, the cities that are at a higher risk, or at its highest risk, would be Washington, D.C., Moscow, New York, London, Beijing, Tel Aviv, Middle Eastern countries. Habibi, don't come to Dubai. NATO military hubs and nuclear command centers. Now, these won't be targets. These will be annihilation zones, guys. You know, we've seen it on many... I mean, look, I'm a bit of a doomsday prepper myself. I watch a lot of post-apocalyptic TV shows, and they kind of prep you for times like this, or they kind of show you that there's things like now what's been happening that kind of help you understand. Or if it was to happen, they make you more believable. They make you understand how things could actually happen and how we could all be susceptible to getting bombed the fuck out of, right? Now, there'll be thermal hell. It will be a thermal hell and shockwaves. Temperatures will reach 10 million degrees. You guys might be thinking, Vel, how do you know all of this? Where you got this information from? I've done some research, guys, okay? Temperatures will reach, if a nuclear bomb is slapped onto any country, the temperature is going to rise to 10 million degrees. Let me explain that again, yeah? Hold on. Let's go to the... Alright. Now, let's come out of this one, actually. Let's go back. Okay? 10 million degrees. Temperatures will reach 10 million degrees, guys. If a nuclear bomb is let off in any of those cities that I mentioned to you, okay, Washington, D.C., Moscow, New York, London, Beijing, Tel Aviv, any Middle Eastern country, NATO military hubs, you know, the temperatures will reach 10 million degrees. Now, look, that sounds like a madness, but that means that concrete, at 10 million degrees, yeah, that means that even concrete will evaporate. Right? Concrete will evaporate. That sounds crazy. Concrete, could you imagine a concrete slab? The concrete you walk on the floor would evaporate at 10 million degrees. Your skin will burn off miles away. You could be miles away and your skin is going to burn off. Shock waves flatten buildings in a 30-mile radius. Guys, this isn't a war. This is actually mass extinction. I need you to understand a war is when you've got a chance to fight back and to go forward and to go left or right. If a nuke gets dropped, there is game over. Yeah, temperatures will reach 10 million degrees. If concrete is evaporating, I don't know what more I can say. What are you gonna? If a concrete slab is stronger than you, then what the hell does that mean for your body? What does that mean for your bones? You know, so it's important to understand. You know, all the billionaires, where are they at? Where have they been going to? What have they been doing over the past few years? Well, You've got hidden bunkers under Colorado, Switzerland, and even New Zealand, right? They're all equipped with water systems, AI technology, agriculture, and even private security in some cases. So you really do have to understand, guys, that, you know, when we saw Mark Zuckerberg, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg, or whatever his name is, the Facebook guy, yeah? When we saw Mark Zuckerberg, is that his name? Is his surname? Anyway, when we saw this guy, you know, buying bunkers and building bunkers, and, you know, we looked at it like it was just a joke. These guys know exactly what's been happening, guys. They know exactly what's been happening, yeah? They're equipped with water systems, AI and agriculture and private security. They've got enough food and fuel to last for decades. They're protected by laws you've never even heard of. So understand, this thing is deep. It's not just, while we're going to be praying in rubble, they'll be cheering in silence. This isn't a joke. It might seem like a joke because we've got the luxury of being able to log on online and talk with one another and, you know, scroll on TikTok and Instagram, but it's not a joke. Who profits from all of this? That's what you might be thinking. Why would they do this? What's the point of doing all of this, Cavell? Who is going to profit from this? Well, I'll tell you who will profit from this. You've got defense contractors, Raytheon, Lockheed, Boeing. These are big contractors, right? You've got private bunker real estate firms. You've got private bunker real estate firms, guys. You've got global elites who invested into doomsday startups. You've got politicians backed by nuclear lobbies. War isn't a failure for them. It's a financial win. So I'm here to at least help you guys understand how we can make money from this, because, of course, when the shit hits the fan, you know, there's a famous saying, bro, yo, hey Tommy, come here quick, please. There's a famous saying, guys. My friend's gonna remind me of the saying because I can't remember the saying. But yeah, hold on. Yeah, what's that saying, bro? I'm on the live stream now. What's that saying? It's
Which one?
if the milk turns sour.
I ain't the pussy to drink.
If the milk turns sour, I ain't the pussy to drink it. Oh, I ain't the type of pussy to drink it. Yeah. What's his name? Rory Breaker. Yeah. Who knows about Rory Breaker? Let me know. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's really important to understand, guys. Like, things are going to progress into a way that we can't change what's actually happening. So for the most part, we have to get paid. We have to get paid. It's just that simple. We have to get paid. So my first target is actually 97K. Once we have Bitcoin come down to 97K, if I zoom out and show you guys what I'm looking at over here, Bitcoin coming down to 97K, pushing up, giving us some type of consolidation before Bitcoin comes down as low as 85K. Now, some of you might be thinking, Vel, there's no way Bitcoin's going to come down to 85K. Guys, if you look at Bitcoin over the last few months or even over the last couple of years, since 2022, it's had a parabolic shift upwards. We haven't seen Bitcoin consolidate in any range for the since last year, in 2024, and that range lasted maybe 3 months before price pushed higher. Then, of course, we had a higher high, higher low, price push up to make a higher high. There's no reason why now we can't come down to see a higher low. But, of course, in unprecedented times like this where there's war and turmoil, some of you might be thinking, well, why isn't Bitcoin pushing up? Why isn't Bitcoin pushing? Because there's going to be more war happening. Some of you might be asking questions. Let me see if there's a chat box. Guys, if you're in the stream, tap the like button, please. The like button doesn't really do much for you lot, but it does a lot for me. So if you're here, smash the like button. You might be on TikTok, you might be on YouTube. I don't know where you guys are at, but let me know where you lot are at in the world. Let me know where you guys are at around the world. So a lot of you, have asked me from time to time, why is Bitcoin falling when we're seeing the war, right? Because we do know in times of economic uncertainty, commodities do very well, right? Well, war equals uncertainty, but that doesn't always mean bullish for Bitcoin, okay? And, war while it can trigger fear and traditionally boost safe havens like gold, Bitcoin is still seen by many institutional investors as a risky asset. It's not a safe haven, So during geopolitical tensions, capital often flows out of crypto and into the US dollar or even into gold. So I know for us, us pro Bitcoin believers or us pro crypto enthusiasts, we, definitely would look at Bitcoin as a commodity, but it doesn't actually have the same merit. It doesn't have the same title as what other assets like gold or silver would actually have. So let's not get too drawn into thinking, well, Bitcoin, it's a savior and it's gone from this to that. It's gone from 3K to 100K. Bitcoin it's a safe asset. It's not a safe asset. Gold doesn't drop in value. Gold very rarely drops in value. When I got into trading, gold was around $1,300 an ounce. And I remember listening to a guy one time saying to me that gold would go to like 2,000. He said the gold would go to 1,750. 1,750, guys. When he told me, look, so I got into trading gold around 2017, yeah? So look, 1,350, that's what I told you guys. That was the high these times when I got into trading gold, yeah? 1,350, right? This guy told me that gold would go to 1,750. And at the time when he told us this, I couldn't fathom what the guy was saying. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, what? How is this guy talking about gold going to 1,750? And look where we're at. Gold, slapped past 1,750. Gold's at $3,400 an ounce. There's no $400 an ounce. There's no way that gold won't reach $5,000 an ounce, because in times of economic uncertainty, commodities are going to do very well. Now, smart money is cautious, okay? Big players are likely anticipating interest rate decisions, election outcomes, specifically in the US, and more liquidity shifts from central banks. So if the Fed signals rate hikes or delays cuts, Bitcoin often reacts bearishly as tighter financial conditions hurt speculative assets. Now, right now it's Sunday, the markets aren't open. So my main aim is to be looking at Bitcoin, and even really over this next week I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin to be seeing exactly what we can get out of this, because guys, even very small trades on this 0.01 and 0.02, even these type of positions, if you get into them and you hold them and you get over 3,000 4,000 pips, you're making more than what you would make on any other pair. Okay, so if you're here on the stream, I've got a mad bruise on my leg. If you're here on the stream, whether you're here from TikTok, whether you're here from Instagram, whether you're here from YouTube, smash that like button, guys. It goes a long way, okay? I will be answering questions. Let me get up the channel to see if I can actually see some questions, because I can't see anything. Can you not hear me as well? Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I'm looking at Bitcoin, and I'm looking at really understanding what type of levels we can go to here. Now, we've got some imbalance above, so I would like to see Bitcoin push higher. I would like to see Bitcoin tap into these areas up here, 102K, but it's a very bearish sentiment right now, okay? Profit takings after strong rallies are always going to happen as well, guys. You got to think, if you bought into Bitcoin at, let's say, maybe 70K, 80K, 90K, even 100K, Bitcoin reached to as high as 112K, and then Bitcoin dipped and it pushed back up to, again, highs of 110K. There has been a lot of times where investors would have had a chance to take their money. Now, we also have to remember that Bitcoin also now has an ETF, so it is also on the stock market. So that means that when the market's open, especially the stock market, we're going to see a significant amount of volume enter Bitcoin, whether that's for bears or whether that's for bulls taking place, right? But institutional buying is only going to happen when the price is right. So if you think about institutions, their job is to buy, or the basics of business is to buy an asset low and sell it at a higher price. So in actual fact, if you look at Bitcoin being at 100K or 99,000, let's say Bitcoin's at 100K, institutions aren't looking to buy Bitcoin at 100K. They're looking to buy Bitcoin when they can get it down to 5K, 4K, 20K, 16K, 30K, 40K, 50K, because when price pushes back up to 100, that needs to be their profit margins. right? That needs to be their profit margins. So it is really important, guys, to think about the necessity of having an asset or having an ear open, or eye open, should I say, one ear, one eye open, and seeing what's actually taking place in the markets, seeing what's taking place in the news, seeing what's taking place on Bloomberg. Some of you may not read Bloomberg. A website I can give you guys for free, some free game. It is finviz.com. Okay, finviz.com. Oh, what happened there? Finviz.com. 1Z. Okay, finviz.com. I get all of my latest news from here. You can see here, you get constant news updates, you get blogs. If I want updates about the markets, about ETFs, about crypto, about stocks, I can just change the filter. And throughout the week, I always just have a look at 5 to 10 articles so I can get a feel and understand a bit more about the market, understand a bit more about what's driving the market and where the sentiment is. You know, what are investors thinking right now? What's the word that's being put out there? Okay, now, if I'm looking at the dollar to look at what's happening for the week ahead, I mean, look, since Donald Trump stepped into the White House, this is another thing to really understand here, guys. If you're here already, guys, I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I've recently got to 1,000, so I actually really appreciate the help and the love. But let's, guys, if you haven't already and you're here by chance, smash the like button, subscribe. It really does go a long way. I really appreciate it. Since Donald Trump stepped into the White House, he ain't done nothing. All he's done is push the markets lower. He's done absolutely nothing. Last week I made over £20,000 trading gold because I understood that the dollar was weak. I understood that there was no strength in the US dollar for me to look at doing something opposite. Okay, when you've got a bias, your bias helps you have a stronger confidence, a stronger opinion on looking at something. The dollar, since Donald Trump has stepped into the White House, has been bearish. So I'm not expecting now, when there's been ongoing discussions about a potential war, for Donald Trump to make the dollar, or for the Federal Reserve to now, grow some strength, grow some balls, and push the dollar upwards. I don't see the dollar going up, taking out the highs, guys. I see whatever's happening right now as being the end of the beginning. I know that might sound very pessimistic. It might